Hi, my name is Roxanne Postel, and I'm the mental health strategist. I help women who are going through mental health issues strategize with strategies to get through those difficult times. For those of you who were here just a little while ago, I actually had to stop the recording abruptly because I was having a little difficulty with my trigeminal neuralgia, which gives me a lot of pain on the left side of my face. But the show must go on. So I'm going to try to gather myself if I feel it again. Well, I want to first take you all back to 2001. 2001, I had just got done off of a contract teaching, and I had found out that I was not going to receive another contract teaching at that school. I had also started having a lot of problems with my multiple sclerosis, which I had been diagnosed with in in 2000. So this is 2001. 2001, 2002 was the school year that I taught. 2002 was when I found out I was not going to be able to come back. But in the middle of 2001 is when I started having more physical problems with the multiple sclerosis. I ended up in a wheelchair. Sometimes I could be on a walker, not too often. Um, but in 2001, I had purchased a house, I had my car, I was living life the way I wanted to live life at the age of 26 or something around there. So I say all that to say this. By the time it was 2002, and I was in my wheelchair and I could not go up the stairs of my new home, and I didn't have a job, so I couldn't pay the bills in my new home. And my family had moved down south, and no one in my family lived in Indianapolis, so there wasn't really many people I could turn to. And I did not have a truckload of friends, if any, at that time. If any, they were up in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I was down in Indianapolis, just a couple hours away. But I had not shared with anyone the emotions that I was going through with this physical illness that is multiple sclerosis, and what I was going through mentally, which I had dealt with suicidal thoughts before. I had struggled with mental health in the past, but I really, really felt like everything had just ended up adding on top of the other. And I did not feel like there was any way out. And for me, there was a lot of pain with that. There was a lot of pain in feeling like, you know what, I didn't make it. I wasn't successful. I didn't do what I wanted to do or what I thought I was able to do. And like I said, there was a lot of pain that came with that. The fact that I felt like I failed. I bought my first house and I couldn't even pay for it because I lost my job. Couldn't even clean upstairs because I couldn't get up the stairs. So I think you feel you understand where I'm going with all that. So I sat down in the living room one day on the floor, and because I had the prescriptions that I went ahead and emptied a bottle of prescription medicine in my hand with with the idea that I was going to take those pills and end my life. And I knew I was going to do it. And I knew those pills were the ones that could do it. Those were the pills that put me to sleep, at night. I could take a lot to put me to sleep forever, as far as I was concerned. So I ended up I thank God ended up calling my mom and saying goodbye to her. And I started to take the pills. And in my head started to be the sound of my nieces and my nephew. Now they're 20 in their 20s now, but back then they were young. And I could hear in my head them saying, things such as, where's Auntie? Why is Auntie not here? I want to talk to Auntie. And for whatever reason, and I know it's God, I know it's God, I decided that I could not do that. I couldn't do it to them. I couldn't do it to their mother, my sister, my mother, have them questioning what happened to Auntie. Where is she? So I ended up putting the pills back in the bottle and I closed the bottle. And all of a sudden, all I heard was bam, 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 bam. And I looked out the door and it was the police. And I opened the door and they said that they were checking on me. They received a phone call from my sister who wanted someone to come and check on me because she was concerned that I was going to harm myself. And I actually told them at that time, I said, you know what? I actually was. I said, but I'm not. I have changed my mind. And I think I'll be okay. Well, once you call them, that's it, right? That's it. Somebody has to go somewhere. So they ended up asking me to come with them, and they had to put handcuffs on me for their protection and for mine. And then they put me in a paddy wagon. Now, let me say this as an aside. I have never been in trouble a day in my life. Okay. I know nothing about handcuffs. I know nothing about being put in a paddy wagon. But they did that and they took me to a mental health facility where I was going to have to stay there for 3 days. And the only way that I could get out was if someone came to get me. So I say that to let you know, first off, if you are someone struggling with mental health issues, I've been there. I now look back and see ways that I could have helped myself and use those things to help others. But right now, what I wanted to do was I'm about to put this water down on the ground again. But I think you all know that did not work for me last time. So let's try this. Put it right there. So, what I wanted to do with knowledge that people are struggling right now with their mental health, people are isolated, they're showing lots of anxiety, they're depressed. And knowing that suicidal thoughts are what they are, and that you can't, once you've done it, you can't have the regret, oh, I wish I wouldn't have. So I want to take the time today to give you 3 things that you could do to show someone who is struggling with mental health how it is that you care for them, the compassion that you have for them. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was, one, you have to recognize it's not taking the easy way out. It is the last stand. So when I say that, I mean, don't, if you are the loved one who is going through mental health issues, or if you are the one who loves that person, please listen. I know that it is a last stand and that you felt like you have done everything that you could do. This is what you need to hear, person who is in the family who loves that person. As far as they are concerned, it is the last stand and they've done everything that they can do. What they need from you is your support for what it is they're going through at that time. What they don't need for you is for you to utter the words, well, that's just selfish. Why would you think about doing that? You know, people who commit suicide go to hell, or it's just a temporary situation. It'll work itself out. And as sure as I sit here, I know someone's going to want to utter those words other words, to a person who's struggling with their mental health or someone who has decided they want to commit suicide, you need to meet that person where they are. They're not thinking, oh, it's okay, you know, it's okay, I'll get over it later. Or someone can help me with this situation. That's not what they're thinking. And they're most definitely not thinking this is the easy way out. If I just kill myself, I won't have to deal with it. They are actually taking a last stand. The pain is that much. And even though it's not something you might be able to see physically, it is something that that person feels physically. The pain that you feel inside when you think that there's nothing you can do to help yourself or to get over whatever situation, that is actual pain. And the last words you need to utter is, you're just being selfish. That doesn't help. That just adds to it. So, this is a chance. It excuse me, if you hear gunshots, I live in the country, they're able to shoot, and that's what you just heard. Back to what I was saying. So, this is a hard choice and the last anyone wants to make, but it is the only choice that they feel like they can make. So, you need to remember that you need to recognize it's not taking the easy way out. It is the last stand. If you can sit with that loved one, listen to them, maybe give them, not even maybe, show them other things that they can do in order to stop feeling the way they're feeling. Or if they tell you exactly what it is they're going through, let them know. Okay, I understand you're going through this. Give them different options. Give them different options because it is the last stand. They don't think there's any way out or anything that can help them. The best thing you can do for them is one, listen, and two, give options. So the second thing that you can do to show a loved one that you have compassion for them who is dealing with mental health issues, is to realize it is a part of a bigger problem that is mental health. I think people look at mental health and they don't think of it as an illness like they do multiple sclerosis. With multiple sclerosis, there are symptoms. I get fatigued, I get off balance, I lose coordination, and I have a lot of cognitive issues. But with mental health, one of the symptoms is suicidal thoughts. You're going to see people who are going to withdraw from their friends and family. They're going to withdraw from activities. They may be angry, excessively angry, and they will have an inability to cope with daily problems. When you see someone is angry, and that's not usually their makeup, that's not how they act. Instead of being so quick to say, oh, she's crazy, or oh, I'm not going to put up with that today, think about what it could actually be. Or better yet, ask what is actually going on. Don't just think, I'm not going to deal with all that because I don't want to deal with that drama. Sometimes that drama is the very thing that lets you know that something is going on with that person. Wouldn't you rather catch that drama at that moment rather than let it go on for a long period of time and that person ends up taking their own life and you could have at least said something. Okay. Thank you for joining me, guys. I'm on StreamYard, so it looks like I'm on Facebook, but I'm on StreamYard. Please go ahead and grant StreamYard permission. That's the only way that I'll be able to see your names. But I do thank you guys for tuning in. So, three, number three, the thing that you can do to show a loved one who is dealing with mental health issues that you have compassion. The third thing you can do is understand that you know the feeling of pain. So don't minimize theirs. Like I said, when somebody is going through mental health issues, especially specifically, I know that I felt it when I had suicidal thoughts. They are in pain. It feels like I've heard a young lady write this, and I believe is she was one of the Kennedy cousins. She said it was like a boulder sitting on her chest. And when she said that, I was like, I don't know why I can never find the words, but she is so right. It feels like a boulder sitting on your chest when you're going through depression and anxiety and you're having those thoughts of suicide and things of that nature. It is pain to them. So don't minimize it. Don't minimize it and be like, you think that's pain. Let me tell you, when I lost my finger, I have a cousin who lost his finger, and that was probably painful to him. But I can't minimize the pain that another cousin might feel going through mental health issues. Okay. Um, Remember, I think I said this, but just because you don't see something as a big deal doesn't mean someone else feels the way that you do. Basically, it doesn't mean that it's not a big deal to them. And I think that's something that we need to understand regardless about all people. Just because you don't feel that way about it doesn't mean they don't feel that way about it. We need to sort of have a little compassionate understanding of one another. If you have a loved one who is feeling alienated, a lot of people are feeling isolated right now. If you feel like you don't have the words to tell them what to do, or if you are someone who is suffering with suicidal thoughts, or you're just isolated and you feel like you can't really get over what's going on right now. And I'm not telling you to get over it because it is a big deal. It's a big deal. It's changed our lives. Whether you want to talk about COVID or if you just want to talk about the fact that you're inside all the time. Maybe you're not even someone who COVID has hit your family, but you're like, oh my gosh, it's changed my life. I want, I think it's going across the bottom of the screen. And it should be, but I do not want to forget to mention. I wrote this book and I named it 10 Ways to Overpower Suicidal Thoughts and Beat Depression. And I kind of felt like people thought I was crazy because they were like, no one would want a book like that. What are you talking? I I changed the title. I put that title on there because I wanted someone to know, look, I've been where you are. I wrote all these words to let you know there are things you can do to get out of that feeling at that time. So maybe you'll be able to hold on long enough to get to someone who loves you. Because there are people who love you. There are people who want you around for a long period of time. But if you jump and you don't even know that someone does feel that way, and you go ahead and you make that decision to commit suicide, people are going to be saying, oh, I wish I had gotten to them in time. And these are some of the things that you can do to make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to think and giving yourself enough time for someone to get to you. So, um, there it is. If you have any questions, please feel free to join me on Facebook. It is at On My Own Terms LLC, or you can join me on YouTube, which is also On My Own Terms LLC. LLC. We'll be talking a lot about mental health issues, and I'll give you some tools that you can use to help you with that or help you help someone else who's going through that. Take care, guys.